Welcome to Jump In, the social media podcast from iJump. Find out more about us at ijump.co.nz. Hi, this is Simon from iJump and Marie.
Yes, hi.
Hi, we're coming to you live from the headquarters of iJump here in Auckland City, and behind us on the walls here you see there's some really cool postcards. They say, tell us what your world is like, and they're part of a project that we're involved in called looksy.org, and you can actually come in and see these postcards because people from all around Auckland have written what their world is like, and there are some amazing works of art here. So we just want to extend an invitation for you to come in to Level 2, 228 Queen Street in Auckland. So that's either you can come in from Queen Street or you can come in from Lawn Street. It'd be really interesting to see you. It'd be great to see some Jump In viewers.
We've actually got viewers.
We actually have viewers.
It's really exciting.
Yep. So that's cool. There's your phone.
There's my phone.
We'd better go. But here's Roger Beaumont, part 2.
I would have to say.
So, what's the future of TV, Roger?
I think the future of TV is fantastic, but I would have to say that, wouldn't I? Yeah. Were you surprised?
Yeah, I was really surprised. I thought it was going to
Yeah.
be quick.
Look, I mean, I've worked in the media game for 20 plus years,
Yeah.
and I really do think that traditional media, and I'll put newspapers, I'll put books, I'll put radio, I'll put cinema in those categories. Traditional media is going to be around for a wee while yet, I think new technology is fantastic and exciting, but as I say, you take the internet, I think it's now part of that establishment. It's a part of what I'd call traditional media because it is so entrenched in our society. The interesting thing will be which of the new technologies that come in the next 10 or 20 years gain that place in the traditional media landscape. Yeah. So look, if we were to fast forward 10 years, I think, hopefully if I've still got a job, I'll be driving to work, probably listening to the radio in the car and keeping up with what's happening in my local community. I will probably read a hard copy of the newspaper, at least on the weekends, maybe not during the week,
right.
But I'm sort of old enough to be sort of entrenched with that habit. Mm-hmm. My wife and I will probably still go to the movies now and again just to escape the children and have a night out. For easy, simple, no-brainer entertainment in terms of having to make it complex or difficult, right. We'll watch free-to-air TV. Okay. So I think it's, all those traditional media will have a part to play in the future. The exciting thing is seeing how all the new stuff integrates with that.
Right, because obviously it's at its infancy, isn't it? It's still young, it's still new, it's still sort of experimenting.
And absolutely, Marie. And look, it's not like musical chairs where just because a new player comes in, when the music stops, one of the old ones has to get off.
Yeah.
You just put more chairs out if you need to, and expand the environment that can exist for all the players that want to play in the band.
Okay, just on a personal note for yourself, a typical day for you, keeping in touch with all the different the news and that type of thing. How do you actually keep on top of news?
Me? Probably during the course of the day, quite substantially online.
Okay.
Because I'll sit at that computer right there, my typical. Well, let me talk you through my typical day.
Okay.
I get up reasonably early, and if I'm feeling particularly virtuous, I'll go for a run. Yeah. I'll come back. I get the Herald delivered at home. Okay. So probably my first news update, if it's not from the radio that wakes me up, will be flicking through the Herald.
Is that every day?
Pretty much.
So you read the Herald every day?
Pretty much. Yeah. And then I have a reasonable commute to work, so I'm a bit of a radio slut, I have to admit, and I punch around various stations on the way to work. Yeah. All MediaWorks stations, I might add. I never listen to anything from TRN. Occasionally national radio, but I think that's allowed because they don't really count in commercial terms. So I listen to a variety of stations on the way and in the car. Yep. And then I'll get to work, log on, clear my emails, and then I might have a quick look at the news sites key news sites that I'll go to, including our own 3 News, and then I'll, through the course of the day, probably refer back to some of those sites. Maybe watch our midday news. I have the luxury of a TV in the office. Oh dear, it's on Prime. How embarrassing! Oh, look, let me just. That was a slip of the finger. I can assure you. Yeah. Research. Yes. And I'll have a quick look at the tally, and then driving home once again, I'll flick around and listen to the. I'm a bit of a news junkie, so
You're a news junkie, yeah.
Yeah. So I'll listen to talk and information type shows, and then I'll either try and watch the 6 o'clock news here, or be at home in time, which is pretty rare, to be honest.
Okay.
So I tend to get home in time for Campbell Live.
Yeah. Okay, Roger, thank you so much.
Thank you. Lovely to meet you. Yeah.
And that is Roger from TV3, Director of Marketing and Communications, and that's us. See you next time.
Okay, so that was Roger Beaumont part 2. Some pretty interesting things to say, and what I liked about what he was saying is that no new medium comes along and replaces anything. Radio's still around, newspaper's still around, but there's a but. The internet is more than just another medium. It's actually come along and changed the way that people think. People with computers, people with keyboards, people with cameras and microphones are realizing, I can actually make content as well. And people are discovering their voice much more quickly and easily than they had to in the past. They don't have to rely on, say, a TV network or a big company.
So that's good and also scary as well, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Because there's this content generation, so that's happening as well.
That's right. And
which is nerve-wracking for marketers.
It is, yeah, because the marketers all of a sudden are realizing, well, we can't just depend on our ad agency being good enough to come up with the best ad. There's a really good book on that called Citizen Marketers, which I recommend. And there's another one called Clue Train Manifesto, which was written a very long time ago, 1999, but it has some pretty fundamental stuff about what's happening and what's changing in the way that we're communicating. And in my view, if you get it, then everything else is just detail. If you don't get it, all the technology in the world will not help you if you haven't changed your thinking. So that's my take on sort of the first part of what Roger said. And then the second part, his average media day.
So his average media day was radio, newspaper, get into the office, check his email, and then eventually he then goes online.
And TV as well.
And TV as well.
Of course.
Of course. But I guess for someone who's using social media tools, it will be slightly different. The reach is far greater. You can sort of search specifically for topics that you are interested in. That's the difference, is that you don't have to just, when you go on, say for example, New Zealand Herald, there's everything there. There's local news, there's world news, there's entertainment, there's lifestyle, there's marketing, there's finance, there's business, it goes on and on. But if you're not interested in all of those headlines, right, and if you're just interested in a few key things, then Google Alert will be really good, and we'll actually include these links on the website, so we won't go into it because we'll just go on and on and on because we love talking about these tools. It's really exciting, and that's how one of the tools that we use, which is really good, is Google Alerts. So you can sort of select. It's very easy. You just search. Go in, and then you just basically, it will show you how to manage the information as well. You can have it once a day as it happens, straight off the press, straight off the news, for example, like Obama campaign. So if you wanted to know everything about Obama, what's happening in his campaign, as it happens, or once a week or once a day, it will come straight into your inbox. Okay, I won't say anymore. The link will be on the website.
Yep. And so we would just like to do a shout out, especially to all our new subscribers.
Hi everybody.
Everybody who's subscribed since we appeared in the New Zealand Herald on Monday, and also since we were mentioned on Adam Mazay's blog in the Czech Republic. So welcome.
Welcome.
I don't know how to say hello in the Czech language, but hi. I'd just also like to shout out hello to Ron Mader from Mexico. He's got a great website, especially if you're interested in tourism and particularly ecotourism, and that is planeta.com. That's planet with an A on the end.com. And also, thanks very much to Jackie Jones from Net
Yes.
Concepts and John Veach from Christchurch. The reason I mentioned those two is they left some really excellent comments on
Yes.
Roger's interview from last week.
Really good
So we would
comments.
really love to see your comments on this video, and we would also love you to subscribe to Jump In. You can subscribe by to the video podcast or the audio if you want to listen on the run. And there's instructions on how to subscribe at our website, which is www.ijump.co.nz. So thanks for watching. We really appreciate you, and we'll catch you later.
Okay, we'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching Jump In. For more information on iJump services, visit our website www.ijump.co.nz. Jump In is part of the Blueberry Podcast Network. Find out more at blueberrynoease.com.